3.
Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. I am in Stocks with Josh's studio. So he's hosting. We just went live on his page. We're going to talk about a couple of things, the overall market, Norwegian, and this is the last time I think I'm going to be talking about Inflection, ticker symbol INFO. I told the people in money, INFQ. I told the people in Money Moves, I'm not talking about this no more. All right, but I'm going to show you guys why. So, Josh, go ahead and introduce yourself before I go right into it.
First of all, Larry, thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor. I got my start, of course, on Larry's show. And I know that 99% of you know that, but there's a handful of people that do not know me. We go out in public. This guy gets recognized everywhere, stopped everywhere, airports, restaurants, everywhere. And I'm sitting next to him like, I wonder if they know me. They're like, I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. Remember me. I'm Stocks with Josh.
You crazy. Listen, I just, you know what? I love the people and I love being in the room with the people. Let's get into what's going on, okay? Guys, the elephant in the room here is I brought you the stock Inflection, a ticker symbol INFQ. It's the last time I'm going to talk about it for a while. But I know, guys, listen, we charted it. We did the proper thing. We had a stop loss. It triggered. Now, I want to tell you, mine got triggered just like I told you guys. So for those of you that held, congratulations. But for those of you that think you're missing something, you're not missing anything. All right, I'm going to go right to it, Josh, here, and we'll look at the charts. Okay. So here's what I want you to know about Inflection. Please do not have FOMO. Right, it's up 32% now, but just today from the highs just a minute ago, it was down by 10% just from the highs, okay? What happened, right? I went over this morning, what happened with Inflection. There's two things that happened with Inflection. Where's the other story? All right, here's one of the big things that happened. The government took a stake in quantum computing. Now, I was talking about quantum computing before any of these news stations was, CNBC, any of them. I brought them to the family. 9 quantum computing companies are set to share $2 billion in government grants. Now, to some of you, $2 billion is a lot of money, but for a large cap stock, it's not. And this got shared over 9 companies. Now, to a small cap company, this is good. But let me continue. It shows you all of the companies, including, see here, Rigetti, Inflection, you could see that D-Wave and all of that, right? But there was another situation that happened with Inflection. This was a black swan event. Look at this. This, Josh, is also what happened. They had a breakthrough in their technology. I won't go into it, but they had a breakthrough in their technology. All of this happened at the same time, right behind NVIDIA's earnings.
It was a short squeeze.
It was, and it just went up. But here's what I want to show you guys about Inflection, okay? I told you guys that the fundamentals of this company is trash. Yes, we're going to make money on it. Yes, some of you already made money on it. The fundamentals is absolutely trash. And I told you that when you bought it, okay? So look at the last 2 quarters. Net revenue, net income. Literally, they're bleeding money. They don't even have any money, and they're bleeding money, okay? And we can see all of this red. Now, it's operating expense. Do you want your operating expense going up or going down?
I want it
okay,
going down.
So we got to learn how to read a balance sheet. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you to be diversified in quantum computing. Let's look at this. Now, I have INOQ here, right? This is the best fundamental company in quantum computing. So let's look at it over the year to date. Year to date, it's up 28%. Inflection, year to date, let's go to Inflection, year to date. What is that? It's down, all right? But you could see these big valleys and these big hills, right? With INOQ, let's go to the fundamentals on it. You see what happens when these things first started out? They got to spend a bunch of money and they're bleeding. They have nothing. And now we're starting in these last 2 quarters. We're the green, way more green than inflection. So when I say money, I mean that because you're at greater risk, and I know some of you are really buying. And I will tell you, I was ready to put a big chunk in it, but I'm just telling you, you got to stick to your fundamentals sometimes. Now, here's what I want to show you also. I want to stack this, and then we'll go to the next one. I want to stack this with Rigetti and D-Wave. These are the ones year to date, they're not so good, but look at what happened to these today. They rose. D-Wave 28%, Rigetti 26, and INOQ 10, right? And so for those of you that caught those plays when I called those out and you didn't get an inflection, you didn't miss anything. You got a bump up. Now I expect some sort of pullback or cool off. Now, Josh, let's pull up inflection and go to the charts on inflection. You got the other one up. Yep. We'll go.
All right.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, guys, I'm going to keep it very simple for you. I've got a Fibonacci drawn. And the way the Fibonacci works is that if a stock is going to remain in an uptrend, it's going to pull back to the 0.382 fib level. If it pulls back any more, then the bulls are not really driving it higher. And if so, right now, pre-market, this hit 1640. It hit right beneath it, around 1614. 1614 was a fib level, and that's why I love these fib levels, Larry, because look at it. It tapped it, and that was it. Matter of fact, it actually stopped maybe 2 pennies before it, which was an early warning sign.
And the bears pulled it back down.
And 0.382 brings you back to my breakout level I gave, previous resistance, and that very, very likely area. Now, you don't just buy because it comes back to 0.382. It has to react here hard and bounce. And you see this big volume node that we have down here? We need some substantial volume down here and a bounce off of 382 if it's going to continue to go higher right now.
So let me show you guys this. Now, here's what I'm not doing. I told the people that I'm going to be looking at the RSI on this play. What I'm not doing is I'm not buying this, and I'm on the hourly. I'm not buying this when we're up here. I'm buying it beneath 30 because it had so many times where it went beneath 30, right? And look at that here, right here, where it went beneath 30. Here's where was the time to buy. So on a day like today, I would not be chasing this stock at all. And for those of you trying to catch the bottom, don't worry about it because, Josh, I believe that this is a 5X stock. That's why I had 500% on the thumbnail. I believe this is a 5X stock. So down the road, a couple of years from now, this won't make any difference if you didn't catch it. Now, here's what I want to tell you. You can do, and I said this on Josh's page. You could set a buy limit. Yesterday, it went down to like 1033. You could set a buy limit or a buy order right now and just keep it locked in. You could set a buy order at 14. You could set a buy order at 11. You could set a buy order at 1033. But all I know is if the market flushes, this thing is going to flush back down. And then you're just going to have to just dollar cost average, to which I'm not doing today. Now, let's go over to Norwegian. I want you to go to the technicals first, and then I'll come to the fundamentals.
All right, Norwegian is on a historic support. So literally from March of 2020, this has been the spot in which Norwegian has bounced. And you can see it's an ascending line of support. And recently, we had what I would say is probably a bear trap on it. This was all related to oil news. And people are going to begin to take a position early. I have on the chart 1660. It needs to consolidate above 1660 for this to be moving above the 30 level on the RSI on the daily time frame and for it to begin to potentially move back up. This is one that Larry and I have talked about. It's in an ideal zone. The most important thing that you guys can identify in this chart is you're buying historic support if you take risk on Norwegian Cruise Lines right now. Larry, what else did you want to say about this?
Listen, I want to show this. And here's why I am down on my positions on Norwegian, but I'm holding because what a lot of times happen is when you tap out, sometimes it's when you should actually be buying. Somebody said, like inflection. I heard that. So listen, But this is different than Inflection. This is Norwegian Cruise Line. Proven, have money, whatever, right? I want you to look at this. I have U.S. oil up. I want you guys to start implementing things like this, all right? So now what's the ticker symbol Norwegian? Right here. Now I want you guys to watch this. This is oil, blue. Oil up, you're going to see Norwegian do the polar opposite. Literally the polar opposite. Then we had a crossover right here. You see, when oil comes down, Norwegian goes up. Look at that. Almost like literally looking into an inverted mirror, right? So let's go over the last 5 days. You see that?
Yep.
This guys, you don't need to know how to read charts to understand this.
Yep.
Oil up, cruise line down. So what I'm saying to you over the last month, let's go year to date. Year to date, the top was, what date is this? May 19th. So far, oil has been the highest May 19th. And here is where I would think about buying Norwegian if I was in it. And this is a long hold. This is just simple, clear to the point. When oil gets the highest, that's when I would think about buying Norwegian and holding for the long. Or what Larry is going to do is I'm going to double down at some point. Yeah. I'm going to 2x what I had, and I'm just going to hold. Now, it's going to take you, listen, it's going to take you really 6 months to a year to really start making some money if the oil starts coming down when the war ends, okay? Yeah. And the day the war ends, you're going to see a little pop. That's what I want to tell you about Norwegian.
Can I throw some thoughts on you?
Please do.
So I like Norwegian. I traded it many times off of that historic line. I recognized that historic line back in 2021 and 2022, and I've continuously bought it off there. But let's talk a minute about the macro situation. I think the price of oil has been artificially suppressed. There's a lot more problems that have not been worked out geopolitically, yep. And I'm not predicting what will happen, but what I'm telling you is don't FOMO. We're giving you this, don't FOMO.
No.
Because if we were to have a problem running into June and July, which some people say that the global oil reserves are going to hit a wall in June and July. Yep. If we have that, then Norwegian will pull back and it'll break historic support and it'll go probably as low as $13.50. So in my mind, if you're looking for a long-term investment that you can accumulate in a quality company that's continuously done well, then you could look at set it and forget it, nibble buy from 16 and ride out the entire thing. And even if it does go up, this isn't Tesla, okay, nope. Folks? This moves slowly. So it's going to go up 25, 40 cents a day, maybe have a pop here and there. But again, I would tell you, you do not have to FOMO. This is coming to you not at all-time highs, but really towards historic lows. But because the oil dynamics has by no means been worked out, and anything could happen in the month of June.
As a matter of fact, July, the demand on oil, because you guys are going on vacation while we working. But anyway, the demand is going to cause it to go up, and then they're going on. All of these things play. So what he said is true. Don't go loading up. Actually, when it spikes the highest, those are only the days that I buy.
Now, I promise, Larry, if you don't mind me saying, we talked about on my video discussing Nike, but I think we're going to have to hold that for a future video. I will just tell you that Nike has been showing some really good performance, and I love to give people homework assignments. Yeah. Go take a minute and look at the Nike chart and keep an eye on it. I've been investing steadily right here below.
Now, I'm going to tell you guys.
42, and I've been doing very well. We're sitting above 44 now.
I'm going to tell you guys. He's a fan of Nike. I'm not. I told my people, I'm not a fan of Nike. I'm not a fan of Nike. I'm not a fan of Lululemon. I'm not a fan of the bike company. Anything that spiked because of, COVID. And then Nike, I just think Nike as a brand has lost their way. I know some of you guys like it. I'm not a fan of it.
I don't disagree with you.
Follow it if it's something you're interested in. Follow Josh's play on it.
Well, I'll quickly, even though we're running out of time, let me show you guys what I think will happen. So obviously we are down. If you guys didn't know, we're down 66% on Nike from all-time highs. But we're clearly in this area of consolidation. We recently pulled back. I took risk right here. I talked about it repeatedly. And to be honest with you, I really can't get hurt here at this point, Larry. But if we can get above 44.25, then we're going to go to the top of the range.
Yeah.
These moves from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, they move the fastest. If it gets to the top of the range, I'm going to expect it to start slowing down because this is resistance. And if Larry's right that this has to be in Wall Street jail, then what will happen is it'll hit this area of resistance, and instead of going up to my higher target of 53, it'll fade and come back to the bottom. And that's what we saw with companies like INTC that had been on, that had been sort of in the doghouse for a long time.
Right.
They consolidate until one day when they actually get their act together, they break out. So right now, at bare minimum, I'm going to be riding Nike up to about $46.
And that's good, but look around you. Who's buying Nikes? Like older folk are buying Skechers. Josh, older folk are buying Skechers and all of the other brands.
Some New Balance.
Exactly. And then the younger guys, they're getting their sports athletes. And it's just not, I think they've run their course, and it's not a bad company. It's just, I just think it's going to be a long time, slow growth, and there's other opportunities.
Well, they did, Larry. They got to 66.6%. They went knocking on the devil's door.
They wanted.
And then they reversed. They got out of there. So I'm riding them until they get to 46. But thank you for having me on the show, sir.
Well, thank you for shooting this in your house, in your studio, should I say. Hey, guys, that's it. Listen, come join us in Money Moves. That's going to be the top link below. And then under that is Stock Up You, a full university on how to understand all of this stuff and make money. We'll see you later. Live, love, laugh, and learn.
Peace.